this clip of Tucker here, so I'll start it over then. Since now we've got
Shut
the
up,
audio.
racist, and you go to jail. They send people to jail. You don't like what the government's doing to you? Shut up, racist, and you go to jail. They send people to jail. UK, they send people to jail every day.
I mean, that sounds like great if that were the case, if people were actually locking up racists for posting, but that's not fucking happening.
And not for standing in, Hyde Park and screaming, but for writing it on Facebook. So imagine a government that totally destroys the country, which is criminal behavior, and then criminalizes complaining about it. That's not a legitimate government, that's a tyranny. That's a tyranny. And if that were happening in some widely recognized tyrannical country, East Germany, 1975, where everyone's under surveillance. By the way, I don't think East Germany, 1975, which was famously the most surveilled nation in the history of the world, I don't think they had seatbelt cameras. I don't. No, they didn't. That was too far even for Eric Honecker. He's like, that's old fascist for me, I can't do it. So these countries have become, including my own, have become surveillance states. And the point of that surveillance is not to keep you safe, it's to punish you for noticing what they're doing to your country, actually. That's not the behavior of a legitimate government. And if you think that's like a right-wing point, you've bought the lies. That's not a right-wing point. That's a simple observation about human rights. No privacy, no freedom.
Yeah, and now you live in like the most surveilled nation in the history of the world, which would be the U.S. And I had said before, when the audio wasn't working, that Eric Honecker was cool. Everybody should like that guy. East Germany was great. The reason they had so much surveillance is because they had a lot of fucking ex-Nazis, like literal ex-Nazis, that they had to keep tabs on, make sure they weren't doing Nazi shit. And it was still happening. Like Operation Gladio was a thing. There was a lot of infiltration and meddling from the West who supported Nazis.
Not to mention the endless hectoring. No, it's not your country. I went to buy a pack of cigarettes the other day. I quit smoking 10 years ago, but I thought, you can kind of judge a country by its cigarettes. Couldn't find them. I went to this tobacco store. I said, this is a tobacco store. You don't have any cigarettes? Oh, there's a really nice Pakistani guy. He's like kind of shaking his head like, I know it's crazy. Opens up this cabinet, and I said, what? That's like, what the hell is on your cigarettes? Like, I don't even want to smoke them looking at that. I was like, you're making me not want to smoke, Mr. Tobacco Store guy. And he goes, I know. And every pack had like a rotted tongue on it or something. And again, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. But I'm an adult man who pays his taxes. If I wanted to, I should be allowed to, right? You can do fentanyl here with the government's help. But you can't smoke a Marlboro without being lectured? Ugh. I did ask how much they cost. It was $60 for a deck.
Again, I don't know if you can do fentanyl with help from the government. That sounds like one of those right-wing fictions. Like, let me know where I could get my government-sponsored fent, but I don't think that exists.
Of 20. And I said to the guy, I don't want to smoke. And I've never said that in my life. And I know everyone's like, well, smoking's bad. Yeah, of course smoking's bad. Lots of things are bad. But it's not really anyone's business, is it? I guess wearing a seatbelt's a good idea. I mean, I don't, but my kids say it's a good idea.
Keep not doing that.
But when they're forcing you to do things for your own good, over time you question, like, is this really for my own good, or are they just softening me up to obey?
What is the libertarian argument against fucking seatbelts? Are you shitting me? Like, just because the government told you to do it, now you're just out of spite not going to do it?
So when it really comes down to it, when they want to inject me with some creepy compound that hasn't been tested, that they'll be able to, like, shoot me with a rubber bullet if I decline. And I'll be so trained...
Which they can already do.
...to be obedient that I'll kind of put up with it. And I won't do what I should do, which is stage, like... I don't want to say I'm going to get arrested. I shouldn't put up with that. Because that is not a free country. That's a tyranny. And you have absolutely no obligation under the most basic precepts of human rights and natural law to put up with that for 1 second. Period. They are the criminals. You are not the criminals.
So I guess these people are big supporters of, like, anti-cop protests.
They don't care about your country, which belongs to you. So when they tell you it's not your country,
Let's see. What other right wing accounts is it suggesting me? I'm following this guy? What the fuck? Who is this guy? Oh yeah, more of the Gen X girl, like why they disabled Hebrew translations. Got a Lenin video. Oh yeah, I did not pay attention at all to these like protests in Mexico. I know that there was supposedly this like Gen Z protest against Scheinbaum or something, and it was like a very obvious like bullshit color revolution attempt. Like it was stupid. I literally have just not paid attention to it whatsoever. Have you guys? Has this been on your radar at all? Let's see, what's Louis Theroux saying?
Should be majority. What you do think is that America should be majority white.
Yes, yes.
I saw a video of you. I look like an undercover recording.
It was. I know what you're talking about.
Where you said, someone said, you think mixed race relationships are like bestiality, and your reply was, well, they're both degenerate.
Yeah. This was like 4 years ago. It was a private conversation. But, you know, I was playing devil's advocate about this idea that interracial relationships are totally like the best idea. I happen to be very old school. I'm very traditional. It's not a value that I have that that's a good thing or even necessarily something that's appropriate. It's not a bigoted thing. It's not a white nationalist thing or a hateful thing, which is...
You give people a lot of ammo, though. You were talking about gay people.
What'd I do? Shit.
Getting married, and your line was like, I don't want them getting married, and other people say, I don't care what you do as long as you do it in your bedroom,
Right.
And you said, I don't even want you doing it in your bedroom.
Yeah, I think it's gross what goes on there. And no, I don't think they should be doing it. Some people, because conservatives...
Well, you were less careful on that one. That was interesting. Like,
What do you mean less careful?
Well, there was no irony. There was less of a twinkle in your eye when you said that.
Well, I mean, look, yeah, I make a lot of jokes online. I am ironic a lot of the time, but people can discern my real views. I'm Catholic. The Catholic view is we want to live in a decent, virtuous society where people are not doing immoral, gravely sinful things.
You have expressed a degree of sympathy or even common cause with avowed white nationalists.
Well, I don't understand the hang-up on, so why are you not a white nationalist? So aren't you a white nationalist? I mean, why are you so interested in that in particular, categorizing me as that thing? That to me is...
Because that's the most prohibited part of your beliefs. What makes you Nicholas J. Fuentes, right?
Right.
Is the fact that there's a racial component.
Right.
Right?
But
even the right wing of the Trumpers, what makes you different from them is that you talk about Jewish power,
Right.
Alleged Jewish power, and black crime, and that you're talking about whites.
Shit. My bad, you guys.
What you do think,
Let's see.
Jewish power,
Right.
Alleged Jewish power, and black crime, and that you're talking about specifically white identity.
I want America to work. I believe in America. We just got to stop immigration. That's all.
Yeah, like, just dumb as shit. They're like literally just low IQ rubes. That's what right wingers actually believe, and they're dumb as fuck. Oh yeah, this is a video I played earlier again when the sound wasn't working, so I'll do it again.
Exactly.
Let's see.
What I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it. That's what I was told by a pretty good source. What I do want to talk about is I've been...
Yeah, so that's apparently Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother. Oh, yeah, the other clip I played earlier of Michael Caine.
I voted for Brexit. I look at it in the final thing, and I tell you what it is with me, is I'd rather be a poor master than a rich servant. You know, politics is always chaotic. because in politics you're always going into areas where you've never been before. So you're going to get lost, and then you're going to find your way, and then it'll be all right. I voted for Brexit. I look at it in the final thing.
Michael Caine can just say word salad like that, and it sounds cool because he's Michael Caine. I love this account. It's Showa Ukraine. It's just like a very tanky page. So they said every few generations, Germany needs to be bitch slapped. It's pretty funny. I'll turn this down because that's fucking loud. Yeah, shout out Body Horror in the chat. Said, did you see the video of Roger Waters talking about how celebrities don't know shit? Yeah, let's see if I can pull that up, because I just posted that the other day. Where are you, Roger? I also don't know what account I posted it from. Here we go.
Angelina Jolie, whoever, you need to read the history of Ukraine. You need to find out what it is that you're talking about. And you need to find out what happened between 1989 and 2014 with the Yanukovych coup, and for the next 8 years after that, before the start of what the Russians call the special military operation. You need to know all of that history, okay, if you want to understand what's going on. I'm sure Angelina Jolie is entirely ignorant of all of the history. Nobody goes back to James Baker, Secretary of State in 1989, accepting, you know, when he told Gorbachev, we promise we won't move 1 foot closer to the border of the Russian Federation than the eastern border of a united Germany. Promise, Scouts honor, promise we won't. They don't know. Angelina Jolie doesn't know. She's never heard of James Baker. They're ignorant. They're complete. And Sean Penn, they're ignorant. They're completely, and Bono and David Gilmour, they're all completely ignorant.
Yeah, sad to see him trash David Gilmour. As much as I'm a fan of David Gilmour's guitar playing, his politics, not so great. And I can imagine that must be like at least part of the reason why they split up and had such like this long, decades long, this like feud where they won't, or like they've, I guess, very rarely gotten back together or whatever. It's also funny because you listen to, like, there are clips of Keith Richards talking about Mick Jagger in the same way. He's like, yeah, Mick Jagger just like sucks up to the bourgeoisie, like the monarchists or whatever, and the nobility. It's like, the fuck, he's got no class politics. It's like, it's funny, they're both like multi-millionaire rock stars in the same band, but like Keith Richards at least has some kind of idea of like a base politics. This is the other one I played earlier. Fuck Grandma is a hell of a message from Republicans to close the year. This is very funny. Let's see.
Budget, budget, budget. You need a plan. Also remember, adults don't need gifts, okay? Focus on the people in your life who are age 3 to 18. Grandma doesn't need slippers. If they don't live by you, don't get them a gift. Now's not the time to spend and break the bank sending packages across the country, Dana. Focus on the people in your life, ages 3 to 18. That's my 30 seconds for you.
Jade, your
budget.
Hilarious. Did the I can't remember, did the audio work when I was talking about the Dave Portnoy thing? I don't know. He's a piece of shit. Here, I'll play it again.
Occasionally, I mean, occasionally you get, hey, kike or Jew or whatever. It's every day now. Like,
there's a definitive shift in what's going on. So yes, now I for me, being a Jewish person, like you gotta step up. You're kind of someone people look up to in the Jewish community. You have to be like, all right, this is not normal, with the guys. People are coming in with real hate.
How do you explain that line to people?
It's a tough one, and sometimes they always don't get it.
And just last week, a man was arrested for using an anti-Semitic slur at Portnoy while he was taping a video in Mississippi.
The success of Barstool and yourself is based on not being afraid to offend, right? Speech is speech, a joke is a joke. Do you see a connection between what you unleashed and what you now have to deal with?
No, because I think Barstool and myself has always had a pretty good moral compass. So we've never stood for hate or anything of that ilk. I mean, do I think that feminists should complain about a Diet Coke can being skinny and that somehow is like leading to a eating disorder by Diet Coke having a skinny can? That I think is crazy. And there are things that I think people get far too worked up, like he, she, verbs, like crazy to me. Making jokes that you are trying to hurt people's feelings and are based in hate, that's never flown with us.
And then right under here, we have Dave Portnoy again.
I never condone rape, but if you're a size 6 and you're wearing skinny jeans, you kind of deserve to be raped.
Correct. I stand by that. I think it's a funny joke.
You think rape is funny?
No, I didn't say that. I think it's a funny joke.
Do you understand how offensive that is?
No,
I never condone rape, but if...
So yeah, very funny to have those back to back. And again, I think I posted the picture. You guys saw that before. No, you misunderstood. I said fuck your feelings. My feelings are very important and must be handled gently, like a tiny baby hummingbird. Let's see what else we got here. I'll go for a couple more minutes and I'll be done for the day. This is just a test stream. Thank you for hanging out, guys. What is this? So this video is AI, and then somebody's reposting it saying, like, the sole purpose of AI is to push racism and meaningless culture wars to distract us from a class consciousness. It separates and subjugates the working class by manufacturing resentment so we do not unite and stand up against the billionaires in power. So let's see what this is.
For the robbery and assault of an elderly woman, this court sentences you to 1 year in county jail.
Nah, Judge, this bogus. I didn't take the money. That was Monica. And it wasn't no brutal attack like y'all saying. She got knocked out, so we stopped. That's it. And I'm getting time for that? Nah, don't miss Diaz.
For attempting to rob a 7-Eleven while displaying what appeared to be a firearm, this court sentences you to 2 years in state prison.
Man, this messed up. 2 years for a fake gun? I bought that thing at the flea market for $10. You really sending me to prison over a toy gun?
For attempted robbery of a convenience...
Yeah, these are like very obviously AI. Like, I guess it doesn't look like it to the people who are already primed for that. Like, man, they're dumb. They really are dumb.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yes. No. Except for those that can swim, because they may get to another. Yeah. I got you. But if you were to say, how does Israel solve this problem forever in the future? I think that if you leave a scrap of Palestinian DNA.
Wait, can I ask you real quick? If we destroy all of Gaza, what is the loss to the world?
I didn't say that there's a loss to the world. I don't really think that the Palestinians provide much. If Israel did eliminate 2.3 million Gazans, right? Let's say it took them even a long time, short time, whatever. They just completely eliminate, wipe them all out. This would cause a response by the Arab countries, even ones that are like, I don't care. This would 100% cause a response by the Arab countries.
They would thank us.
Right, this would 100%.
Exactly. Yes, they would thank us. But I legitimately cannot think of any...
Get rid of...
Yeah, these are just some of the worst people. So I don't know if you guys have picked up on it. Like lately, my politics is just that the American left is the same as the Israeli left. As in, they're just settler colonial, first and foremost interested in their own just self-interest. Like, that's what their alignment is. And if you guys can't understand how petitioning the government that you call fascist for free healthcare in college is not resisting that government, I just don't even know where to begin with you. Like, that's just like not a serious position to have. Like, Body Horror says, the more I use RedNote, the more I hate our social media. What the fuck are these discussions? Yeah, I mean, I can't stand Instagram anymore. I just simply don't scroll it. I scroll it for like a couple seconds. I'll block whoever Instagram suggests to me because it's always like hucksters, grifters, some kind of influencer, somebody like selling a class of some kind. And it's directed at like who they think I am. And it's wild because they've figured out that I'm like a 41-year-old dude. But the things that they suggest me are wild. It's like, are you a Christian who's doing great in business but just wants to like work out? Where it's like, no, dude, like you are so far off base. Like, what the fuck is this algorithm? But I guess it's just because I don't spend enough time on Instagram. They stopped thinking I was gay. They were suggesting me a whole bunch of gay stuff. I'm like, damn, like solidarity, but it's like I'm not interested in it. No thanks. Like, very funny. The algorithms are awful. And that's why I actually just spend more time on Twitter now than anything. Like, at least gives me some content that I can repost elsewhere or is like somewhat entertaining in some way. Like, let's see, this is from Brian Allen. It says 1992 footage shows Trump, Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell at Mar-a-Lago laughing, whispering, and pointing out women like they're shopping. It's not a rumor, it's on tape. Trump gestures toward a group of young women, Epstein nods, Maxwell watches, and all three smile. For decades they told us nothing to see here. The truth was never hidden, it was recorded, archived, and protected. Release every damn page. Let's see if this is AI, you guys. What do you think? You tell me. Let's start it over. I mean, this looks like VHS footage. The hands look okay. The song tracks that would be playing at a gathering at that time. That song was unavoidable. Rhythm is a dance. Yeah, you could not get away from that fucking song. Every store, every skating rink. What do you guys think? Was that AI? Was that real? Indian movie on Netflix, copy-pasted fight scenes from a GOW game. Yeah, I've been posting clips on Instagram of this speech that Trump gave at the McDonald's Impact Summit. It's so fucking funny. This is so on point. Like, he sounds really raspy. He sounds really old and tired. But the shit that he's saying is just so funny. So this Daniel Aguilar says, honest to God, so many of our problems in this country would be solved if every voter was forced to sit down and actually watch this entire speech from beginning to end. The things he says are just like,
you know,
wow.
It's interesting. Your dishwashers were covered, right? You had no water. I was with some of the people that make them, Whirlpool and others, and they said, sir, they won't give us the water to use in our dishwashers or use in our washing machines. The washing machines have no water. I mean, it's like a glass of water, half a glass of water.
What happened? Just stop.
We need water. And I said, how bad is it? He said, well, like the dishwasher. They put the dishes in, and they just keep pressing the button, they end up using more water. So I gave them, as you know, unlimited water. Biden came back with a rigged election, and he immediately restricted the water again. But I came back in and immediately unrestricted again. So now you have unlimited water to clean your damn dishes, okay? And other things. Your hands.
What is he talking
Didn't
about?
you hate that? You walk in to wash your hands. I'm a big hands guy. I like to wash my hands. And you know, it's interesting.
So I guess he's saying that they got rid of the water restrictions on faucets or something. Cool, I guess. I don't know. I also do find it frustrating. I was at some bar the other night, and it was one of those places that had like the motion detector on the faucet, and you would just, it was like the old Seinfeld joke. He's like, oh, you get a little water, you get a little water. It was really fucking frustrating. I was like raging out at this fucking sink. So I do understand that, but I don't know. I feel like there's more important things you can focus on as president. He's just that kind of guy. It's very funny. The Epstein Zorro Ranch underground lab to genetically modify humans and for transhumanism experiments seems far more credible since new emails that were exposed explain that Epstein wanted to genetically modify people. Jeffrey Epstein owned a massive property in New Mexico named Zorro Ranch, where young girls were flown in for his sex trafficking, blackmail operations, and alleged medical experiments. Some even called it a, quote, baby factory, which are used for breeding undocumented children used for sex and organ harvesting, as well as satanic rituals. Okay, so we're getting deep into the crazy conspiracy theories here. Let's see. Do I even follow this person? I do not. What is the SCIF? Like, why can't it just be, why do you gotta have an American flag in your bio? Be a 1776 Second Amendment enthusiast, so we can see what this guy's all about, but like, why do you have to shitcode it? Why do you have to insert the satanic stuff? Why can't it just be that he was an obvious Mossad agent and then was cultivating this whole blackmail operation to like entrap the most powerful people to enact the agenda of both the US and Israel, since they are identical? Why do you have to like introduce all this spiritual bullshit? Like, that's why I also don't really get down with like so much of like they call it the noited left. That feels like an op to me. I don't know if you guys think so too, but I feel like all of that is a big shitcoding op to further obscure and make people feel like it's too big to ever combat. It's like the levels of power, like the very obvious structures of how this power is enacted, which is like these intelligence agencies, their militant operators that they have, whether they're the official ones or the secret ones, and then all the blackmail operations. It's like, this stuff has all been done before. We have documents from the stuff decades ago. There's no need to insert the esoteric, the spiritual, all that weird stuff that like makes it so that you can't prove things. It makes it like seem more nebulous and hard to understand than it really is. It's actually very simple, and the problem is that people don't want to take it seriously in a way that like allows them to also use institutions that would countervail those things. Like, they don't want you to build up a party. They don't want you to also meet up in like rooms and conduct like what seems like business, but it's actually like militant revolt. But like, you know, imagine like if the DSA were based and they had like a militant wing that they had to keep in contact with secretly that actually conducted like militant operations against the state. That's what they don't want you to do. And you won't do that if you think that you're up against like people who are doing satanic rituals as well as the corruption and the capitalism. It just, again, it just all feels like a big shitcoding to me. But you let me know what you guys think. I don't know. I keep clicking on that Instagram thing. Let's see. Merz just said that Brazil was a shithole, that everybody was happy to leave after his visit because Germany is more beautiful. Sometimes you really wonder if EU leaders are this bad on purpose or if it's just some form of strange geopolitical autism. Exact translation of his words, quote, I asked some journalists who were with me in Brazil last week, who among you would like to stay here? Not one person raised their hand. They were all glad that we, above all, from this place where we were, returned to Germany again on the night from Friday to Saturday. Let's see. Does he speaks
Meine Damen und Herren,
yeah.
Wir leben in einem der schönsten Länder der Welt. Und ich habe einige Journalisten, die mit mir in Brasilien waren, letzte Woche gefragt, wer von euch würde denn gerne hier bleiben? Da hat keiner die Hand gehoben. Die waren alle froh, dass wir vor allen Dingen aus diesem Ort, wo wir da waren, wieder nach Deutschland zurückgekehrt sind in der Nacht von Freitag auf Samstag.
Let's see if we check the chat again. Body Horror says, do you think releasing the files will even do anything at this point anyway? Like, maybe it will be validating for the victims and that's good, but I don't think it's the magic solution libs think. Yeah, I mean, doesn't this all kind of remind you guys of like Mueller? It's like you can expose whatever you want and then people will ultimately do nothing against those structures of power. And then the people who are motivated and feel comfortable enough to do something because of their white privilege and their compliance with the state will do something like January 6th, not something like that's actually a threat to power. Why is the stream so stretched out? Damn, I don't know. It should look better now. What's it look like for you? Send me like a screenshot in the Discord or something. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here for today anyway, and then I will get on another time, maybe tomorrow, and then do it again. And then hopefully every time I'll get a little better at this, working out like the technical issues, being a little less unk about it. But thanks for joining, you guys. This was the test stream. It was the first of hopefully many. Check out linktree/turnleftist if you want to join the Discord, any of the various group chats or whatever. There is a Patreon, but if you give me any money, I'm just going to give it to other people who come and stream with me, like Jared and Joseph, because I'm not a liberal grifter. I'm actually not grifting. I'm actually not trying to make a living posting like the fucking grifters. There are people who provide a valuable service, who are actually like educating people. I'm aspiring to that, not quite there yet. There are some people who deserve to make some money doing this, but they are few and far between. Again, the American left is very similar to the Israeli left. There's not a lot of serious actors. There's definitely no one who's doing like Marxist Leninism in practice. There's a lot of people who are, in theory, fans of it. I consider myself a propagandist for it. But I'm not a revolutionary. None of you guys are revolutionaries. If I call you non-revolutionary, if I say that the org, like your favorite org, is not revolutionary, or that it's liberal, or, you know, that even this includes like your favorite lib influencer, or who calls themselves a Marxist and revolutionary, don't get mad. Or if you get mad and then say, oh, so you think posting on Instagram? No, I don't. I don't think that's revolutionary at all. No one does, and I've never said that. You'd have to be borderline mentally incompetent some way, in some kind of real clinical way. You'd have to like really be mentally unfit to even think that, which is why I've never said it. And most people who say that don't believe that either. They're just angry when I say that doing mutual aid and protests is not revolutionary, whether it's with the PSL, the SRA, the DSA, or the FRSO, or whatever org you are a fan of. I don't care. They're not revolutionary. They are not a vanguard party. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that hurts. Did this just like cut out entirely? That'd be perfect. All right, you guys. I'm going to cut it out anyway. I'll see you tomorrow.